I think them shits is they all get stored on your app though.
Yeah, they do.
On your, yeah, okay.
I got both of them, but there's a nice little warm up bits because it just led to that question.
Yeah, like I just feel like, yeah, it's just like, you take some medicine, you use it, and then you put it back in the medicine cabinet for whenever you got to use it again. Like I think it's just kind of like that. It's not like you just like just taking medicine. Like you don't just take Robitussin or whatever. Just because. I guess you could. I guess you could just drink some syrup.
And there's
Uh,
other consequences to that with the syrup just for fun. And it's like,
yeah, yeah, no, it's gonna be some type of effect from that investment. You know what I mean? I just feel like it's just appropriation. You know what I mean? You do things at the right time, and it don't really feel like taxing. You know
yeah,
what I mean? If you fuck all the time, then it's taxing. You know what I mean? It's like just the taxing end of it. Like it's not so much the thing, it's the appropriation, I guess.
you misappropriate it, you'll know.
Yeah, and that's I guess part of learning about appropriation. Nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that. I mean, like if your mistakes was like part of the process of learning, then it's not really a mistake, kind of. But if you just know that the shit's wrong and you keep doing the wrong shit, then it's like
and it's cool with psychedelics because you can get your ass kicked by yourself.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, you can, man. Yeah, man. It's delicate playing with your perception like that. It's like
if you are
you
playing instead of like trying to be precise with it like a tool to do something.
yeah, yeah. If it's just like um turning on TV or something, if it's just entertainment, then yeah, then I guess you just run the risk of like having a bad trip because it's just more careless.
Those bad trips, man, it could
Yeah,
change your life.
yeah, man. I'm telling you, man. There's one chick, she never came down, and I don't know where she at to this day, man. I really don't know, man. You know what I mean? Like, I gave her a tab of acid at the end of 2020, and months later, I seen her, and she was still kind of spun out. She hadn't done no drugs in that whole period. Then she hit the weed one time, lost it. She's butt naked running through the streets, got picked up by the sheriffs, and they took her to the loony bin.
Yep.
So I
So
mean, it's man.
what do you think she saw? What do you feel like she experienced, or just
I th-
anyone in general?
I
Like, is
don't
the
know,
rug
man.
taking the rug out from under it? Like,
I think she just never really got fully grounded, man. I feel like some people, and then she probably never really got fully in touch with her breath. I think people really just like, um, it's almost like if you like lose in a game of life, but you win a poker game. I guess you could. It kind of still feels like you won, kind of a little bit, but you didn't really win. So I feel like sometimes like when you're fucked up, but you can still accomplish like tasks within the matrix, it feels like you're okay, but you're not really okay. You're just like an automaton in a sense. Like you're just like functioning within the matrix. It's not like really functioning. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you,
functioning with it, functioning in the false matrix.
yeah, like like if you're just I don't know, like you're just a fucking I don't know, you work at McDonald's or something, and you complete your day's work and you didn't have any problems, but you're like emotionally, not well or whatever. It's like I guess it can kind of reinforce the wrong things because you feel like, well, I went to work, I did my thing, I got my paycheck or whatever, and you feel like I'm okay, and you can kind of tell yourself that, but like um, I think once you like stop, you can kind of see that you're like how not okay you are, and like
Yeah.
I feel like that's what happened to her. She came out here and she had like a lot of silence and idle time to like really like have to like address whatever. I don't know, bro. I didn't spend that much time with her. You know what I mean? That was like the first or second night she was here. She lost it. I was like, damn, man, that's crazy. She hit the weed one time, and it was like she took acid like 3 months, 4 months prior to that, like one tab, and she didn't have a bad trip, but she got like panicked. I could
Yeah.
tell, but like she was cool, you know what I mean. But I could tell she never really fully got grounded. She kind of like ignored that fact, and she just kept going without ever getting grounded. I feel that's what I think. I don't know.
Hmm.
I think that like it's almost like yeah, I'm grounded, I'm fine, and meanwhile you're just floating away, like you're just not present. You know what I mean? Like you're just in some other thing in your head. That's what I think happened to her. And then I think she hit the weed, and it just made her even like super anxious. I don't know, bro. I'm guessing. We're guessing it's mental illness
Yeah,
now.
it's crazy because I don't know how much the mind is capable of, other
Yeah,
than just being that much of an infinite potential there, to go anywhere with it into more obscurity or more clarity.
yeah. Maybe it's because she was Nigerian. I always be wondering, like, maybe it was just the acid. Maybe she wouldn't have been like that on like mushrooms or ayahuasca or something.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like it probably would have been way different if it was mushrooms, because it's just like it's definitely an organic thing compared to an inorganic compound like the dilysergic acid or whatever.
It just was crazy that like she was kind of sane. I could tell she was like a little loopy, but she hit the weed one time, yo. It was one time 3, 4 months later. It wasn't even like the acid had just been dropped. It was 4 months later or 3 months later.
It's
It was 100 days. Like, yeah, it's crazy, yo.
it's psychoactive. It's a psychoactive thing. It probably just maybe like re-triggered some neural network that was just kind of like sitting there waiting to just get reactivated
Yeah,
from that first experience.
yeah, man. It's just nuts, man. To me, I don't know. I haven't spoke to her, so I really have no. It's all. I'm just throwing darts in the dark right now. I don't know. I
Well,
don't know
yeah,
what her processes were.
and it's different for everybody. And that's where it's just crazy to see it like that.
Yeah,
Like each person is going to be unique for each person, and then people have different levels of experience, and then even that wouldn't matter because it's just dependent on the individual's dosage to get them to that place. For me personally, I always just want to go a little more or way more than I'm comfortable with. And sometimes it's
definitely.
great. Sometimes it is the worst. Like it was sort of like a dark night of the soul I even had last week, because I'm not gonna make excuses or blame anything. I feel like it's definitely on me personally, but I can't be doing things like mixing acid and mushrooms. I think
Yeah.
those two got I mixed them, and then I just was like, it was just the way I really can't remember a worse time that I've ever had in my life.
Did you do the acid first or the mushrooms first, or at the same time? It was the same time.
It was like acid. Maybe a couple hours went by. I'm in the mansion in the Beverly Hills, and then I took this 11-gram mushroom to the dome, and then I took some
Yeah.
more acid to that.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I don't know, because acid, every time I take acid before the shrooms, it just dominates the shrooms.
You said it negates it. You felt like
Yeah,
I heard.
dominates it. Like I don't even feel the shrooms really. But if I take shrooms first, I feel them still. I don't. I don't know. I really don't know if it's just my chemistry or what. But to me, it's like the same as. It's almost the same as Molly.
Damn,
At this point, it just has visuals though. It's like Molly with visuals.
damn.
That's the feeling.
Yeah,
I get the same feeling. I can't sleep. It's like the same feeling. Like what I mean. I don't grind my teeth though. That's the one difference, I guess. But it's just like it's just they're kind of the same in the endorphin release. It just feels like I'm supercharged, and I feel like mushrooms like they kind of just let me know like the actual state of my body. Acids like they just it doesn't really let me know that. It's just like here you go, here goes this endorphin dump, and like mushrooms kind of bring me into reality where it's like, yeah, this is what your body really feels like.
mm.
And acids like this is how I want to feel. I don't know.
And then that would explain like the physical exhaustion after taking acid, and just you just get that endorphin dump, and then you're charged more, you're literally having more energy moving through your body than usual, and then it's like, I don't know, it's definitely draining afterwards. Or it's like,
Yeah,
man,
not
my
my
physically
worst.
move like,
Yeah, my worst at mushroom trips is just being tired. Like trying to take the shrooms and be like, I'm all right, but I'm really tired, and I just thought I could take them, but I'm just really like not accepting the fact that I was tired. And
yeah,
those was all the bad trips. So I think yeah, maybe the acid just like depletes some, the endorphins and shit to where you just like you just can't even weather the mushrooms the same. It's like, and then it's just like I feel like it just creates a lot of anxiety, like a lot of jitter. Like mushrooms don't make me jittery, you know what I mean? Acid be making me jittery as fuck.
yeah. No, it makes sense, and it was just it was frightening. I was spooked, man, spooked.
Yeah,
And I can remember a lot of what happened. There are a lot of things I can remember, but it was just such a rush of experiences that it was so intense.
it's like
You
just
know,
too much information at once, I guess.
way too much, all for like a span of like 5-6 hours, and it was rough because it was like I can't even really like say too much, but I definitely like it was like that was the night like I got the police called on me, got kicked out of the house. Can't I was it was rough, bro. It was rough. I'm good now, but the the dark night, dog, on that
Yeah,
seeing thing.
yeah. I think that's the thing with acid because it keeps you moving more. Whereas like shrooms, kind of like you need to just chill. I think a little bit. I think you need to just like move slower if you're moving. I don't think you need to be like as active, like unless it's a smaller amount. I feel like you're taking more than a quarter. I feel like shrooms is more so like yo, just chill out. You know what I mean? But anything under than that, I feel like you can move around and do like cartwheels and shit. But I feel like acid is more of like an active drug, like and it's like a day drug. And then I feel like mushrooms is more like evening and night and more like somber. I don't know. I mean, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do, but I just feel like in
No, that
my
makes sense.
experiences, it's been like that.
Yeah, that you saying it like that, it just seems like, yeah, in my mind, if there's like a brake pedal and a gas pedal, both of them were just being floored at once,
You're just doing donuts.
bruh.
You're just donuts in the parking lot.
Bruh, man, and never again. I'm never again gonna mix these things.
Yeah,
'Cause-
you don't need to, man. You really don't need. Like, you can have a good experience with just one.
Yep, and but to get to this point where I say that, like I'm not gonna do that. I had to get my ass beat hard, man.
Yeah, yeah. I guess that's the only thing that you would respect. Like certain ass whoopings, you're not even gonna respect. I guess it just you had to like whoop your own ass to a certain level, or it wouldn't have been acknowledged. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and then the mushrooms being there, I do have a chance to reflect in it, and this is leading up to the question that I have for you, because like I want to know what's going on. Like like people experience pain or experience discomfort, and they have an option to either numb that, or you can connect with it,
Yeah.
right? And so, what's going on when people numb it, and where is that taking people?
It's just compartmentalization, bro. Last time I did mushrooms, right, I was with the shorty. I did the mushrooms, right, and bro, I don't even feel my own emotions. Like I have like a partition against them. It's like a wall. You know what I mean? So like I'm taking the mushrooms and I'm like regular, right? And she just started crying out of nowhere. And I was like, yo, do you know what you're sad about? And she was just like, no. I was like, yo, that's my sadness, yo. That's mine. I just have
Wow.
such a wall. I have a wall to where I'm not even I'm not even acknowledging it. But you're like walking into that wave of sadness that's there. But like I don't. It just doesn't even register because I've compartmentalized my emotions. I separated my emotions from my thoughts, and my opinions on both of those are all separated. Everything's separated. So it's like it's just crazy like that. So I think that that's like kind of it. Like like just the separation. You know what I mean? Like the more that you numb, the more that you have like physical separation. And then I guess all these separations are there.
And that I feel like
From
the
God.
more. Oh, keep going. What are you saying?
I was like separation from God or self or whatever.
And that I feel I see that having like a rubber band effect of like the more numbing is like you kind of have like you're if you're super close to God, like you and God standing next to each other holding a rubber band, it's like numbing yourself. You're kind of like stepping further from God, but you're still there's all this tension. beneath this, you're kind of
Yeah.
stepping further away, and then like there's like this snapback that you can get of all the pain. You could experience all the pain at once that you were numbing. You can make it
Yeah.
through that. That could
Yeah.
be that's sort of what I feel like I experienced, to where I feel like the amount of smoke, the amount of cannabis I've consumed even since fall. Like I think this last week I went like 4 days, like 3.5 days without smoking, and that's been the most for over a year.
Yeah.
Since I can even remember. But what sparked this was that night. Cause I'm like, I feel like there's something even about like there's so much pain. I've had this aversion from pain. Like I don't want to feel my pain. I can numb it all I want for years and years, but I feel like it all caught up with me in one moment or in one night. Where I'm like,
Yeah.
I need to connect with my pain.
It'd be
And not be
stored in there, and then it's like you open the door, like you swung the door open.
Yeah. and I love it though, because it's like to connect with the pain, I'm getting closer to myself, and it's like you see people confuse happiness with stimulation.
Yeah.
Like this is where I'm at. Like it was getting like some realization is like if I'm thinking happiness is stimulation, I keep stimulating, and then that's just creating the numbness. Is like,
Yeah, you're burning the candle on both ends.
but I think I'm getting happy, but then at the end it's such a crazy emptiness.
Yeah. Nah, man, for real. And that's why, like, I'm trying. I'm not trying, but I've been doing since the event, man. I don't even want to project, yo. I really just don't ever want to I don't ever want to smoke again. I'm not saying weed is out the question, but I just never want to smoke anything ever again, really, if I can help it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the smoke is the problem. It's not the thing. It's like, I don't know. Like, so I feel like the only way that I could get that off is really I got to do the whole cleansing thing, like the integral way, yo. I got to really go all the way back to like, just mono fruits, then mono fruit smoothies, then coconut water and juice. And like, I can't skip no steps or I'm going to keep getting high. I feel like that's like the only time I was able to quit weed is when I did it in the order. And then weed just went on its own. It's not like I had, it just happened. Like I just went from dense to less dense to less dense to less dense to where it was like the weed felt dense.
Yeah.
And then it was like, all right, this is a no-brainer. I'm stopping. But so I feel like I keep trying to skip steps because like I'm projecting and trying to bypass my own pain. So because like I know what a bunch of days of fasting, like what it entails. So like I'm like, fuck, man, I really don't feel like going through that. So I'm trying to skip this step and that step or whatever. But if I just slow it down and just go through a few days of just like the integral way, then I feel like it just won't be such a snapback, like you're saying.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean? I don't want to I feel like everybody's kind of going through that. Like everybody's going towards like self-realization and, maybe off-grid living or healthy living or whatever. And it's like, you should do it now on your own volition before the society starts forcing you to. Because like you said, like inflation is not really affecting some of the things that, if you're a raw vegan, you might not even really get affected too bad. Like if you eat like, cheese and milk and shit like that, then yeah, it's going to affect you a lot more. So inflation just, the society is going to kind of force you to go vegan. And then I feel like that's unconscious. To get forced into veganism is different than doing it on your own volition and just reduce it, fasting and reducing one ingredient at a time and just removing stuff and then reintroducing stuff and going through that whole process. Now it's like, when are people ever going to generate time and space to have time for themselves, space to themselves, and learn these things on their own? And it's not like a forced thing that they have to just do on the fly. Like, okay, so now we don't have money for this, so now we're vegans or whatever. You know what I mean?
It's forced like that kind of plants a seed of destruction, like just because of how it was, for the reason that it was initiated. That just determines how it's going to end or how it's going to play out the entire time.
Yeah, anybody with vision can see that, like, it's just shit got to shift. You just got to do whatever you can do to supplement your income. Growing foods like growing money or whatever you do to supplement and not have to be needy. It's just like you can choose your family, create a community or whatever, or go with your actual family, but you don't want to depend on the government.
No.
I don't think, because that's where they want you.
Yeah, master slave, pimp ho dynamic. Centuries. It's been centuries of this, and it's like,
Yeah, crazy separation between like your will and your body. Because like if you're living in like somebody else's dream, you're like working for someone else's dream on the grid, then your own will is like separated from your body. You know what I mean? Like it's like a bunch of separation. Like it's there. It's just like going through a bunch of filters. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's conditioned.
yeah, like it's like instead of you building your own house or something, like now you have a mortgage. So now your will is like through this filter of like, the bank and whoever built the house and the neighborhood or whatever and all that stuff. Instead of like, building the house yourself, it would be like your direct application of will. Now it's like all the separation of your will and your experience. Like it's just the body and the will just are separated. I feel like for most of us, I feel like it might not be completely severed, but it's like some separation there.
It's that self-reliance that we get robbed of our ability to rely on ourselves, like depending on other things like this. It's been the conversation the whole time, and I feel like I'm definitely like moving. It's like it's gonna take like it's a gradual move out, but if those movements aren't aligned with this long range purpose that's about the ultimate reason for
Agenda.
being, I won't have enough energy to actually make it happen.
Yeah. I feel you, man. They make it seem like it feels good to be like what do you call it? Like needy in a sense. They make it feels a lot better to not have to need. Like if you fix your car on your own, you're like, damn, I just saved $200 or whatever. Like you just did it on your own. And I feel like they promote like the the lack of know-how in a sense, as if it's like a status symbol to not know how to do things and still get them done.
Like you're not progressive if you don't use the technology or
Yeah,
or AI or the robot or whatever.
yeah, like it's just so much more satisfying. And then it's like, everything's been slutted out. Like if you grow your own food and then you taste your naturally grown food and you're not eating anything out from outside of that, like your taste buds are all going to get rewired, and then you'll find like it's like you'll remember that you actually like that. You know what I mean? It's like it's there, like you naturally really do. It's just we've been trained. It's the conditioning is so strong that people, they think they like salt. They think they like whatever they like. It's like you just have to give yourself space and time to experience another thing long enough to where you get contrast. But at this point in the process, it's people kind of already have to have been taking some steps. They can't just be like, I mean, maybe somebody could be like extreme about it. Like, I just went vegan today. I'm about to get it all done before the world collapse or whatever. I just think that that's just a lot more stress. But
It doesn't seem possible. It seems like trying to force a flower to open. Like
yeah,
there's like a catalyst of awakening that happens, and now there's like at least 4 or 5 years of going through the same things that everyone else went through when they were first coming into awareness of what's going on. But you got to sit down and like I don't know, read certain things. I don't not It's not anything specific. It's just like whatever that person specifically, whatever book falls into their hands at that time of awakening.
yeah,
To get
but if you're doing this shit all at once, it's just so much traffic. Probably, like you said, just too much information at one time, and I don't know how you can really like assimilate it and apply it in a way that's like not jumbled to where you actually are becoming self-sufficient and not just like being dumped, having a bunch of conceptual knowledge, because like you can't teach age, you can't teach 10 years of experience. Like the person has to go through whatever that is.
Yeah,
You can't teach that shit. Like
that's what I'm saying. It's literally like a 5 or 10 years, and it's just like that's just what it looks like. It's gonna be like I have friends that 5 years ago I'd be talking to them about certain things, and they're not hearing it, but now they're reaching out to me like, oh, okay, I know what you're telling me now, and now it's just this catch up. Like it's just we got to play catch up.
yeah, I think the people that physically from like physical real life 3D that you grew up with or maybe knew from a younger age, they're not gonna come around to like more towards, I don't want to say the end, but like at least like their 30s important to a lot of them. Just because they know you, yo. It don't even got to do with nothing else. Like they just don't want to take it from you if they know you. You know what I mean? It's just like if a stranger told them the shit that you were telling them, they probably get it. Like it's just because it's you and they know you and y'all grew up together and they don't want to create like status or separation there, so they won't come around. But I feel like a stranger, you can meet a stranger on the street right now and they could just transform. You know what I mean? Because they took it from you and you don't know them. It's not like they have to have like there's no ego death in that.
Yeah,
it's not really like ego, like doesn't really tug on that ego.
It's messing with the worldview. It's messing with like it just fucks with people really bad. Like if you're not matching up to what they've always thought you were,
Yeah.
Really fucks
like if somebody met you at 10 years old and you're talking to them now, they're gonna really try to act like you're a 10-year-old person still, kind of like they like I know that person, so I know you now. Like it's like that. I feel like
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I've been crazy isolated. I feel like I literally have left my town and everything just to get to the point like, okay, even you need to have distance even from your relatives for a certain amount of time to get to the point where you can sit still and get clear on what was already going on beneath the surface the whole time that you weren't even able to afford the time to acknowledge with all the distractions everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like about activating them codes, man, and getting into a space where you can communicate with yourself. And if other people support it, then there's nothing really wrong with that in a sense that you kind of become like one being. It's not like separation in that if it's like people like on the same page or in a similar wave, similar radius. And like, I just feel like it's all about communication with yourself. And then you can receive from yourself and then you can connect to other people's self instead of connecting to like their personas and opinions and shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just them codes, man. Like there's so many dormant codes. And then some people just not having any codes, you know what I mean? Like that, like, or not any codes, but just, I feel like certain things is just a lack of code. You know what I mean? Like eating meat to me is just like you're missing codes. Like there's codes in there that you're not in life that you're not interfacing with. And so you eat meat.
In place of it, there's the meat. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and it's just like, I feel like that's kind of like the case with everything, like with people's behaviors. It's like, they have a code. They're like computers that have a certain code and it's like it's outdated or it was never up to speed. It was just like a dysfunctional machine in a sense based on the codes. Like, and if they could be exposed to certain codes or activate the dormant ones, then they would be a totally different person. But they need that space and time to communicate with themselves, with the whole body, learn another language or some shit, all types of shit, learn all the different signals in the body, like all that type of stuff has to happen. You need space to fast and space to fast from certain people and fast from certain objects and certain places and all of that. Like if you don't ever get that contrast, I just feel like everything that's dormant stays dormant and then you never really get out of the loop to like interface with the true codes or the original codes.
And it's like night and day.
Yeah. And it's like you're not even wrong because you're just like in this false paradigm because you're missing pieces, like, or you just they're not all awake. It's like, I don't know if it's wrong. It just is what it is. Like when people eat meat or whatever the fuck they're doing, it's like, I guess this is what makes sense, based on your codes. Like this is the code you live by. And it's correct. Like I don't know. It's almost like like kind of like when Pharaoh was saying like humans were created to destroy man, original man, and like it's almost like if you create a bunch of fucking um, if you, like it's almost like Pablo Escobar when he took all the hippos from Africa and brought them to Colombia, and they had nothing to check them. There's nothing. There's no natural predator. There's nothing to keep them in bounds. You know what I mean? So like it's like just was somehow moving something out of place and then duplicating it. I feel like just it created like such a fucking draining effect in a sense to where it drained the environment, drained so much to where it's like there's no reminders. You know what I mean? Like you destroy all the original people. All right, then you destroy all the original trees. Then you destroy a lot of the original animals. Then it's like, and then like hundreds of years later, it's like there's no original reminders like of the codes, like of how the order should be.
Yeah.
And so like you're just operating blindly, and you just think like, yeah, look, I'm within bounds. I'm just
So
like
you think
I'm
you can?
going to work or whatever, paying for my meal and eating my meal. I'm not stealing anything from anybody. Like you can't even see how much you're stealing. Like,
On the crime scene.
yeah, you're just like oblivious because like the codes are missing. It's almost like your eyes are missing. And it's
Yeah.
like it's like the autotrophic and endotrophic thing, man. It's like autotrophic people or autotrophic beings, like algae is autotrophic. You know what I mean? Anything that produces light is autotrophic.
Okay.
And so like endotrophic shit is stuff that has to consume external light.
Inside.
Yeah, it has to eat other things. You know what I mean? Endotrophic. So the autotrophic stuff, I feel like it's like if you're more original, or if you interface with originals, or if you awaken those codes and stuff like that, then I feel like all that shit does is bring you back to the autotrophic state more and more.
Where you're just giving off light.
Yeah, you're just creating light, using your own light to return to the source of light or whatever, all that shit. I think it's just so regular. It's just supernatural, super regular. So like it just people that are coming from like an endotrophic state, it's a state of status. Like I have to eat this other thing. This thing is less than me. Like, and then I feel like it creates a bunch of other status. And yeah, the endotrophic, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with the endotrophic. They probably have a role. There probably shouldn't be as many of them, but like, I feel like they just shouldn't rule. The autotrophic, if they rule, then the endotrophic that are alive or that exist, they would probably just be in their place like a pig in shit. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be bothering nobody. It would just be being a pig and shit, or be whatever it is. You know what I mean? A polar bear on a jumping onto a penguin or whatever.
This is where I'm pretty sure evil comes from. It's just things in the wrong places.
Yeah. And then not knowing, and then not caring to know. It's like, wow, like
why would you? You can't even. If you wake up in the wrong place, you think, oh man, that sounds like a nightmare. But waking up in the wrong place and then thinking you're supposed to, everything is saying you're supposed to be here when you're really not.
Yeah, like as soon as you eat some food or whatever you do, or you just like validate your false existence more. That's what I mean. Like, like if you're out of place, but then like you're like, I go to work every day and I make this money, I do this, then like how am I out of place? It's like it's just giving false credence to the illusion, and then it doesn't create like any, they don't even really realize. I feel like if a lot of people, that's the parasite thing. I feel like the body being like kind of hemmed up, the parasite doesn't ever let them interface with the original codes, because if they realize, they would have to change, or they would really start to kill themselves. Don't you think?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I feel like if you knew that everything was wrong after like so many years of like of thinking you was right, then I feel like you're just gonna kill yourself mad fast. So the parasite's like, nah, I can't let you just murk yourself fast like that. I want to use you to proliferate. So I got to keep you away from shit, so you think that you're correct. Because if you don't get exposed to the information, then life knows that you've never been exposed to it. So it kind of gives you the benefit in a sense. Like you don't know, then you can't unknow, and then life don't interact with you the same. Like your body don't give off the same information,
Yeah, it's
and you
crazy to
can't
think even, like there's you see the gradual regeneration of the vessel just through eating raw vegan, just conscious like that through the life, to where you can meet like a 70-year-old 60-year-old woman and she looks like she's 30 something, or man or male, and like then you could show that to somebody, and then explain the subtle cumulative effect that eating carbs and shit will have on the body. Like it will degrade your body, and you're gonna get you're gonna age terribly eating like this. And now that you can separate the wheat from the chaff here, because now you can see who's gonna keep eating it, and then who's gonna see that and they'll be like, oh shit, I gotta change. But I feel like there really is two camps here on Earth, and it's like a death camp and a life camp. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And that's when
I
you
mean,
go for it.
my bad. No, go ahead. You said that's when what?
Oh, that's it. Just when you can clarify like that, then you can like start to know. Even if you were a teacher or something, then you can start to see like, okay, who do I look towards, and like who do I share the information to, and who is it really like? There's zero chance that I like. It's just at that point it's a waste of energy trying to convince half of the group here, half of everyone here to change, because even if you told them, they would rather die anyways.
Yeah.
They'd rather
than to transform, yeah.
Because they're here for that. That's kind of like, I just came here to die, to kill myself. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the codes. It's like if you put a certain kind of animal in a certain place, this is gonna be miserable. Like its codes don't match with the place. So it's like, and it's like if you sprout a seed in the winter, almost, it's like it's not supposed to be there at that time. The timing is wrong. It's not necessarily anything maybe wrong with that seed. It's just not supposed to be there in that place at that time. So it's self-destruct, and anything connected to it's gonna be close to an explosion, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, then the whole culture is just kind of designed for people to go through that self-destruction process, but have it be as entertaining as possible or as fun as possible.
Yeah, as like stunning. It's like a stunning. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like a stun gun to like have salt or sugar or certain colors and color combinations and food combinations. It's like a stun gun.
Man.
You know what I mean? I think it's just thinking in English too. I think thinking in English is the problem. A lot of it, like 90% of the problem.
God damn, that was like, I feel like the first night we even talked, bro. When I pulled up, that was like my main grievance. And still to this day, it still is my main grievance. But I kind of got off it recently.
Yeah, man. That's why the female I'm with now, man, she know like 5 languages, man. Nice. I don't think anybody can help me like that, like with communicating with myself. You know what I mean? Because like I'm just thinking in English, and I'm just not even really able to communicate with myself like I could. And she'd be saying it all the time. She'd be like, "Man, this is not a specific language. This language is so broken. Like I can't really fully express to you. I have to go into another language, and you just don't know it, so I can't talk to you."
God damn.
Like, yeah, and I just always, English is really Anglish. You know what I mean? It's Anglo-Saxons. You know what I mean? And that's North Germany, though.
And that was a shit show.
Saxony is North Germany, and you know what I mean. And so that's where the Anglo-Saxons come from. They took over because the British Isles was called Britain. It wasn't Britain, it was Britain, and it was all black people or brown people, however you want to look at it, whatever, copper color, whatever, bronze, whatever. Yeah. So like so the Anglo-Saxons took over Great Britain and called it England or Anglo land, but it just means like angel land or angel language. You know what I mean? Like, and so like everybody, for the most part, most people on Earth use English like as a common language. Like if you travel somewhere, most people know English.
26 letters.
Yeah, not everybody knows English, but most if you get like it's not like if you go to like Peru, the chances of them knowing German is way less than them knowing English. They probably know English. You know what I mean? If they know any if you can't talk to them in Spanish, the next best bet gonna be English. Or if you go to African countries, they're gonna probably know English. Some might know French, some might know Portuguese or whatever, but most people on earth know English, like in the world. Like as far as like if they want to get jobs and stuff like that, they usually have to learn English if they're gonna be traveling or working in the travel industry, stuff like that. So like I feel like there's got so many people thinking in the angel language. You know what I mean? The demon language,
Rely
basically.
on the angel language to communicate with ourselves.
Yeah, and it's like it was designed by by demons for demons. It's like FUBU.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like it's just not. It's just it's I guess it's cool to know, but like it's not. It shouldn't be your main way of communicating with yourself.
And when it is, you see the flip on the psyche and the consciousness into more division, more separation.
Yeah, because like when you look at other languages and they like describe a thing, the word for the thing is accurate for the description. In English, it don't be matching at all, yo. They're like, yo, that's what we call that. And they're like, that has nothing to do with that thing. Like it's just like way more careless. It's like I don't know, it's less care in the language. Or it is care, but in the wrong way. Destructive care.
And I see that being like offensive to like another bubble of like another spiritual. If there's a spiritual realm where none of that is going on, there's no English going on. For one being to go from that realm and into a realm where they're using English, it's like, oh fuck. It's like what?
Yeah. It's like you're all retarded in here, in a sense. Like it's like going into a world where everybody's retarded and they're not really fully saying the whole word or something. And like it's like idiocracy or something. Like, I don't know. They're just not. It's just the expression's broken. I don't really even.
Yeah, it seems incomplete.
Yeah.
Not complete, not whole. That's like the opposite of health. So it's just sick. It's just this disease. This is viral disease on consciousness.
Yeah, and it probably was like the first English, the high English and all that stuff. It probably don't sound that far from German. It probably, you know what I mean? It's probably some Latin and French injections in it, but it probably sound like another language. Like the same way that you hear like Jamaicans talking English, it's like I don't know what the fuck you just said, yo, but I know every word was English.
Yeah. But the angle, yeah, and it just, yeah, if it was like a certain angle of the consciousness, just where they're coming from while they're using English, it's like apparent that there is a completely different nexus. It's like, that's why the accents, you got the accent.
Yeah, like, and I just wonder how the shit was, man. Like, maybe 300 years ago, if that. Like, because it's so fucking crazy where it's at, man. Like, it was all different. Like, in a sense, like, even the French were black. The Jacobins. They if you look, you can Google like black Jacobins. Like the original French, they was black. You know what I mean? And they were, raiding America. The Moors was black. They was raiding America. Fucking and King George III was a light-skinned black dude. He's raiding America. It was really. I feel like the color thing became an easy status symbol. Like in the last 400 or 500 years. Before that, you couldn't play that game the same.
It was 1492.
Yeah.
There were no black people. Yeah, there were no Moors before 1492, and there were no black people before 1492. And that's the conversation of just the organic people or indigenous, aboriginal people, organic to this land. What I came across is like the biggest issue is getting everybody, or the biggest issue is everybody who is aboriginal to this land, whoever's here like that, believing that they came here on a ship. That's where the mind is tied up.
Yeah, and then it's like people crossbred, so they partially did.
It mixed up that, and even in like the Seminole Wars and shit.
Yeah, like you got so many people interbreeding now to where it's like the sunken place almost. Like it's just like a rotation of like maybe you'll get the Mongol ancestor for 3 hours today, and then it's shift for 6 hours of the Aboriginal, and then 3 hours of the European and an hour of fucking Moor or something. You know, what I mean, it's just all like it's all mixed. Like I feel like it's all
Yeah.
There's very few that like are together and it's not that there's not very few together. It's that there's very few together that know it, that know that they're Aboriginal and they know
Yeah.
like that their bloodline is like it's been here.
And it's a birthright to be here. And the last thing you want to do is sign a treaty or some contract to give someone superior jurisdiction over you about whether or not you can walk on this land.
Yeah, and all the treaties, they're all been breached too. All the treaties have been breached. So it's
and who
like
signed these treaties?
They're all void. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's what I'm saying. Like it had to be some type of person, some type of infection had to happen somewhere along the line. Some type of infection had to happen. You know what I mean? Like why would it get to this point? Like if everybody on Earth was black and we still got here, what the fuck happened?
No, because there's people that are black that are not for everybody. Like there's a white man, like all the people who are black in that board of white and black, but it's like a 5D galactic chess game where there were Moors invading America and they're brown and they could fit in with you at your service for Islam, but they're plotting for you to have all of your birthrights taken from you and then pin it. They'll hide behind a white face and get you to think it's a white person, but it's still them. It's this group of dirty Moors. Like there's Moors, there's righteous ones, and then there's unrighteous ones. And the trick is like,
yeah, it's just like no matter what color you are, you can get jealous, you can get envious, you can get greedy, you can get wrathful, you can get prideful.
Doesn't matter skin color.
Yeah, that's available for anybody. So it's like it's just you get so caught up in it, and at this point, like they can play the color game so well because of separation. There's just so much separation.
But their skin's brown. Like whoever's doing it, it's not a white person.
Yeah, no, hell no.
It's like it's our own. It's like, but yeah,
it's some type of voodoo.
It's a conjure war. It's been conjure wars are gone. I like the phrase. It's just like they all like if you say they took our land from us, but it's like where'd they take it? It's right here.
Yeah.
Understand? Where'd they take it? And that's the mind trick. To take the ground beneath you in your mind, to get you to think you're somewhere where you're not. That's a conjure war. And like it's just been it's been years of people battling, seeing who can manifest it.
And then probably in some ways they did take the land in a sense like of flooding and making quarries and moving things around. Shit probably don't even look like how it's supposed to look. Like the topsoil is probably not even here on Earth. It's probably all over the place, like moved around because they're not even really concerned with the top of it. Like, if you're a parasite, you're just mining. You're just gonna go in and mine this shit, take all the minerals out of a body. You know what I mean? Like you're not really after what's on top. Like you're gonna penetrate and drain from it within. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's not really about. So like I feel like with the no florist on flat Earth and just looking at the world, looking at the Grand Canyon, it just looked like, man, like a lot of the topsoil is probably gone. A lot of topsoil is probably eroded. A lot of it, like on Earth, like it's been so just shifted around because the mining. They're constantly taking shit out of the ground. That like it. I think that like if the topsoil was here, if it was intact, then the plant life would be more intact, and then the bug life would be more intact, and then it would just be inhospitable to parasite people. So you like have to destroy it.
The usurpers.
Yeah, like you can't live like it's like if you're fucking Nordic and you go to like I don't know the Amazon on the equator, it's just gonna be inhospitable for you.
You can't get into the harmonic resonant frequency of the planet in that region because of where your body's at. If you were a Nordic or something like that.
Yeah, you're like a pine tree. You shouldn't be there. Like pine trees. Yeah. And you're just gonna and if you do manage to exist, you're not gonna be in symbiosis, you're gonna be just draining.
Yeah. For the whole system, yeah. For the whole, yeah.
Yeah, it's a wild thing, man. I wonder when like shit got to this point. I always wonder like, does it reach a point where people just get so overstimulated, or like does it just like does the creativity just like I guess like hit an end? Like does because like I mean at some level like it's not like you can invent sour or you can't invent sweet. Like you can just it's like the Sun Tzu shit, the Art of War shit, where he was like, yo, there's only five flavors, but if you mix them, you get unlimited flavors.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I just be wondering like, can anybody really create anything within this place, or has it just been reduced to this point where we only have five flavors? I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I can't really tell because like it's not like somebody can reinvent sour. They can only like add other flavors to it to make a reinvention.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be always like feeling like this place is really just it really is a simulation that with like a classroom. You know what I mean? Because like it don't seem like you can create really. Like you can't. I feel like if your creation is gonna have to be brought remotely from some other place, like through your dream into this place. Like this place is kind of like a blank. Like I don't know. It's like I don't know. It just seems like a template or like an arena. It's like an empty arena almost, and you got to bring your shit into it. It don't seem like it has anything in it that's new. Like there's nothing new coming from this place. Like you can only bring new things into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like from some other place, from like within yourself, from some dream or some shit. I feel like this place is just like a empty arena, kind of like it's like sour is sour. You're not gonna make a new sour. You're not gonna make sweet again. You're not gonna make bitter. It is what it is. Like you're not gonna, you know what I mean? It is what it is. Like water is what it is. Everything is like in a fixed place in a sense, and like you get to make new shit through like combinations of things, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and I think that there has to be some type of existence where that limitation don't exist.
Well, is it a limitation if there's infinite flavors that are coming out of it potentially?
I mean, it's through combination.
Yeah, even if it is the same five things, that feels like a ground. It feels kind of grounding. Like I do see things like that, and it gives me this like pre-verbal relief that I didn't know I was tense about. That this thing is chaotic when it's really organized and simple. You know, like and so it's like a game board, game rules. This needs to be some sort of game board. If it was some like open arena, like even gladiator shit like that. What's the protocol here? Like, or what are the variables? What do you work with? What tools can you have in the game? It's not a game, but
Yeah, nah. I mean, I guess it's a game, but like it's like when you're making people, it's like kind of like the same thing. Like some people have these codes, some people have these codes, and you bring them together, and maybe the code will be functional or an improvement because they work. Maybe they can work together. But it's like, do you ever really invent a new code or because like I feel like creation kind of has a code or a template at least in this realm. I don't know. I mean, like it seems like it has like a template, and like that's the formula for creation, and then there's like a formula for destruction. It's like if you do certain things, you're gonna get creation. If you do certain things, you're gonna get destruction. Like, and
and they're both
I
the
just
same.
yeah, and it's just like another a part of the process.
Like they're just different mode. Like destruction is just a different mode of creation or something along
Yeah,
those lines.
yeah. It's like the if creation is the day, then destruction is the night, or the day is destruction and night is creation. But it's all still like June 2nd though. Still.
Yeah, or just when does it go from being light to dark? Like at what point?
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
point.
Not.
It's connected. It's all connected.
Yeah. Not. It's just the perspective. It's all the angle, I guess. You know what I mean, on how you see it. Like if you're blind, it's always dark. I guess.
Damn. And that's kind of what we're talking about. It's just going forward to like seeing where okay, maybe there's nothing new you can make here. That you can't have a bunch of stimulation with all the flavors in this simulation, a simulation.
I think
And
you just have to bring shit from some other place. Like you have to like really like have a baby, and then the baby invents something because it like came from some other existence, or
yeah,
like you have a dream, and then you have an invention, and it like it's inspired from another existence. Like this place kind of seems like a blank slate in a way. Like it's just like a place to like color. I don't know.
It could. I feel like optimal, like in the best case scenario, it really is that light. It's just, but there seems to be some sort of like issue that's been going on here. Color, it could be color. It could be a really fun coloring book for everybody, where we could be celebrating all the time.
Yeah,
Not divided, but yeah, what we're dealing with seems like a beast that.
yeah, because like it's just people's light. I feel like if people was tapped into their light and they was expressing their light, no matter what body they were in, if they were fully inhabiting that body and their light was fully expressing, if they're just a fragment, then they're fully inhabiting their body. They're not going to be separated from what they come from. They're just a fragment from a bigger thing. And if they are fully inhabiting the fragment, then they're not separate from the bigger thing.
And if it's a hologram, it really works like that. Like just, like, with the any piece of the hologram has the whole thing in it.
Yeah, like you're just in alignment. It's like if the devil's in alignment with God, then all of the justice or punishment is righteous or whatever you want to say. So it's appropriated, and there's nothing wrong with it. And the devil's not really an evil thing, just a servant.
Like it sucks, bro, because I see the release. First, like I saw this dude today. Like this man was on a walker taking like 1-inch steps on the sidewalk downtown LA. His face is like, I don't know what you know how people's faces start to turn when they do crack or something. You know what I mean? But like, dude has this like tube coming out of his pants into his walker. And I don't know if that's a colostomy. I was like, man, this is so miserable. And like, we all have this in different degrees as far as like how miserable we feel in our bodies. But when it gets worse and worse, and the parasites just keep leeching and they keep exploiting, and there's no bottom to it, when you get towards the end of the life, I can't imagine how good it would feel to die for dude.
Yeah.
Like to where it's like all that shit, all those things. It's like, if it was evil things, it still has that purpose. Like the deeper you get driven by that, it's just gonna make it better for you in the end somehow. But I don't even know if that's true. That's kind of me speculating. Like, is the devil bad at that point? When when we need all like these hooked up things to happen.
Yeah, somebody got to take out the trash. Like, it has to happen. You know what I mean? Like, if people make themselves trash, then somebody has to take that trash out.
Like, and put,
like, it's just like in the stage now, like we're, you know how it is, man. Like if it's the Hollywood divorce thing, man, it's just the Hollywood divorce shit that, that Eminem, not Eminem, it's the Lil Wayne and Dre 3000 song when he's talking about like, you make up a slang or something and then it gets to Hollywood and then you divorce from it because it's no longer cool once it reaches that point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's how it is. Like, people having baggy clothes or whatever and all that type of shit, then as soon as white people do it, it's no longer cool. And then black people do a new thing and then white people copy it and then it's no longer cool. It's like
and then like 10, 20 reiterations of that was the whole thing.
Yeah, and then so it's like the worms have to take the dead shit, the shit that's no longer cool, and destroy it to make it so it can be repurposed. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, as soon as you see certain shit on a white dude and you're just like, man, why the fuck this shit looks crazy on him? I mean, then it's dead. It's destroyed. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as you see a white dude say certain shit, you're like, this slang is dead. It's destroyed. It's no longer longer cool.
The new one's on its way.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like the role. It's like their role in a lot of ways. Like, the worms got to be part of the compost pile or nothing gets converted. Like, and then we're just in this compost part of the process. I feel like
naturally, it's there. Where's the exit? It's because if we're all learning something here, keep going into more obscurity to snap back into clarity. What lessons are we getting? It's not even what lessons are we getting, but what's the type of lesson that we're generally all getting, and it's like a subjective one for each of us individually, like where we have a threshold for how much pain we're gonna put up with until get to the point where like, okay, I'm gonna actually sincerely change the core of who I am.
You remember the Matrix scene when the guy was like hurting himself, and because Agent Smith had took him over, like in the Matrix, they had like the real reality, and then they jacked into the Matrix, right? Like they went into the illusion.
Okay.
But then like every time, like when you would see um, Lawrence Fishburne and Keanu Reeves, when they would be in reality, they would look like they'd be like in tattered clothes. They'd look like bums, right?
Mm-hmm.
They look like, you know what I mean? But then when they would go into the Matrix, they would have like, the martial arts shit on or whatever, suits and shit. You know what I mean? But the one dude, when in the Matrix, they had the one guy who was part of the team. He was in reality, and Agent Smith. He went into the Matrix, and then Agent Smith possessed him in the Matrix, and then Agent Smith was able to take his real body, and I mean, the Agent Smith was able to come out of the Matrix through the conduit of the person trying to come into it.
And he was like making him hurt himself?
Yeah. And he was like, and so they were sitting there and they're like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And he was like, I don't know why I'm hurting myself unless I'm not myself. And then then it just eventually comes out like that he's Agent Smith. He was like, basically saying like, I'm not trapped in the Matrix no more. I can come into reality now because you keep coming into my Matrix. Now I'm going to use you to come into reality. And I think that's kind of what's happening. I think like this was maybe a dream that got colonized by the Agent Smiths, and then now they're trying to like proliferate into other dreams or into reality. Into you know what I mean?
I'd be seeing people whose brain is colonized, and it's like a one video camera for the Smith looking at me.
Yeah.
Like I swear I'd be seeing it. Then.
Yeah. I think that shit happens too, like when like on the inside the Agent Smith is not it can't for whatever reason look through you, so it's just like, oh shit, we lost him, we got to turn on the cameras around him.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And then everybody's giving you side eyes now,
and they can't even help it. Right? They can't even help it. They don't even know why they look at you. They're looking at you like not even knowing why.
That's why I can't get mad. I'm just kind of spooked.
Yeah, it is creepy.
It's creepy as shit. This is just surveillance in general. It's fucking creepy, man.
Yeah, the whole shit. And I mean, and we're at this point now where remember Ed Snowden 10 years ago or 12 years, I don't even know what year it was, Julian Assange and Snowden, they had they leaked all that shit about the government basically spying on us and spying on other countries and all that. And it's like, now it's just normal, you just expect it. In 10 years, they're probably gonna be like, yeah, we've been listening to your thoughts for 10 years.
I'm almost certain that like the iPhones, at least past like iPhone 10, it has subtle enough like technology to track your brain activity in terms of frequencies to kind of get this whisper of a voice in English, and it can literally read your thoughts. Know what you think about?
Yeah, and then like I guess if you're moving around, it's already using your location, and the apps are using your location and all that shit, and it's just like creating like this digital idea of you, like and using your whatever information you do give it, the real information, the real you, and it's kind of like
they're gonna use that to predict where you're going.
Yeah, what else could you think? If you're going to a McDonald's, what else are you gonna do? You're not gonna just go in there and order a salad, probably. Like you're gonna do certain things like based on like certain circumstances. And then like now you're being pressured in real time by the AI, through the advertisements and all of that type of stuff. And then whatever parasites you got inside you. So it's like in real time you're being pressured. So like your thoughts, the range of thoughts, it's not even that many thoughts probably. So for them to monitor the thoughts, they probably figure out the signature of certain things like a hunger.
They keep you within a certain bandwidth.
Yeah, you're not even thinking a certain thought. And if you do, they probably can tell, like, what the fuck was that on the Richter scale? Like, what was that right there? You know what I mean? They probably got the signature of every thought. Like, hunger probably has a signature. Thirst has a signature.
Joy.
Lust. Yeah, all of that probably has a signature. And they probably, like, from that point, they can translate it probably. Like, this is what he's probably thinking if we don't know for sure.
Yes, and to just keep, and then that's like sort of the control is just like the predictability.
Yeah.
keeping people within a certain range of experiences, you know, below fear, just kind of just in fear, and then being able to have that virtual, copy of them that you can just kind of like totally be able to predict what's going on like 3 months from now, 5 or 6 months from now. And that's just AI, but that's only if it was quantum computing. What I still learning about this, so anyone who's listening, please forgive me if I'm still sounding like I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's something about a 5-point conversion processing rate with quantum computing. Like, if there's binary, so there's like 2-point convergence with like ones and zeros, and then you can go like trinary,
like threes and sixes. Yeah.
Yeah, the 3 of them. And then you can get like 4 different conversion points. And then I think with the most advanced quantum computer on the planet right now that they can even think of touching for the next like 1,000 years or something, it's like 5-point convergence. If it was that level of intelligence, same time, if there's actually God, if God was computing at a certain level, it'd be about a 19-point convergence rate of processing. And that's why I feel like the more we actually like tap in and delve into things like specifically DMT and psilocybin mushrooms, like the frequencies and like the level of experiences you can bring in, it's just constant anomalies for the artificial intelligent computer. And every time you do activate, it's just gonna like that'd be kind of like some sort of like power shortage or some sort of crisis in America, and then they turn on all the supercomputers to track everyone's spending and shit, in that to get that snapshot. And it's just like looking like, oh yes, more information. But we're tapping into the infinite. So it's like, I don't know. Like you can activate into your God self and the AI could keep trying to track you, predict you, but because of the convergence rate of the processing, like how God's still like vastly superior to AI, it's just gonna be funny. So it's gonna be weird and funny. I don't know.
I'd be always feeling like at some level, like the AI is just a servant of God too, where it's like, yo, this shit is so broken now, and the people are so not themselves that they need a thing to move them around for themselves. Like, I'd be always thinking like that. Like once this shit reaches a state of imbalance and parasiticness, I feel like it's like like Pharaoh calls it the God grid. Like everything, they keep laying God grids down over top of the God grid that already exists. Like there's already a consciousness grid that is, and you got the other grids on top of them grids, and now they just keep laying other ones on top. It's like the further that people,
the GUI,
the further you get from the God communion or the God grid, then like your body is now like it's basically possessed. It's like moving on a different course. Like, and I feel like it's like people, if you're like a cab driver in New York City, you're in a grid within a grid within a grid within a grid. Like it's like a bunch of grids. Like your body's a grid in a sense. So it's like, I feel like it's almost like it's like a failsafe. Like this is the inevitable outcome when people give up their will this much on a mass scale, and the collective nervous system is in peril. I feel like it's just like it's almost like the AI is needed.
And the AI is just seeing it without emotions, to just basically come up with whatever solution that needs to be come up with in real time.
I'll be always wondering how many algorithms they be really running on things when they want to find things out. Like what do they call it? The looking glass thing. You ever heard of the looking glass machine that they can see all outcomes?
That's what I'm assuming that they're like. That's why it's just like, yo, we can use AI for this specific reason, but you could use it for nefarious reasons too. If you want to look through it and see all the options of what you could do for this specific war move, and then pick the best one out of like 10 trillion that no one could have thought of because you didn't have that.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, like somebody's gonna do it anyway.
They probably already been
at some point, right? I feel like it just exists in existence. Like the invention is there to be vented into a dream somewhere. It just exists somewhere. Like, and you maybe commune with the dream, and then you interface with the invention, and now you vent that invention into this life. So it's like it's always there, present. Like every invention's kind of there, like always available to whoever manages to like align with it, synchronize with it,
with that singularity.
Yeah, it's there. It's all there. And I guess it's just part of the whole process, like of the if when reality gets caught in a loop, this is what happens. I guess that's what I think. I don't know, like
And
just for the continuity, because has to keep moving forward. So even if it's looping, it's like I guess barely moving forward, just barely, like inching.
there's something about staying in place, like an example, a personal example right now is like I found a dope raw place I can eat, but imagine me, I'm making more than enough money. I'm making more than enough money now, but I'd be happy like just working to stay in place to where I could keep eating clean. But so I'm staying in place, doing the same thing every day, but gradually my body's changing.
Yeah, I guess it's just the law of diminishing reply too. Like the experience is just going to be less and less satisfying as you continue to do it. It's like if you eat a sandwich and then you have another sandwich, that second one ain't going to be nearly as good as the first one, even if it's identical. You know what I mean? Like the law of diminishing reply. If you
Oh,
if you
okay.
eat, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I think that like yourself, your God self or creative self is like, all right, we can do these loops, but it's gonna be some point where I'm just gonna break this fucking loop. Like,
Like that's that pain threshold of like, or
yeah,
if it anything, just
you just reach that point where you're just like, I'm gonna break the loop, or I'm gonna break my body. So,
it
it
doesn't
just
make
makes
sense.
it,
It hurts too much.
yeah, especially at that state of consciousness. Just going to raw restaurants is like, I feel like you know what I mean. You're gonna reach a point where you're just like, all right, I did this fully to the fullest, and now it's the next thing, whatever makes the most sense, is what's gonna unfold.
Hmm. And yep,
I don't,
yep.
I don't think the creator in you is gonna let you just keep looping.
Oh
Like,
no, but it's like these
yeah,
temporary times, like because
yeah.
it's nonstop. But it's like, but for me to loop on that same thing, it's just like in that process of looping, like I'm adding. There's not something getting added or anything, but definitely, like I just see that I'm cutting out everything else. Like this place, they make everything in house, so it's like it's all organic, everything is in house, no bullshit whatsoever. Like going on. So as long as I can loop and continue to go there for maybe like a few more months, now my body state to where I can get into a different loop. And it's
Yeah,
just
that's
like
more so like cyclical than a loop.
you said cyclical.
That's kind of more like a vehicle than a loop. It's like a vehicle. All those actions are kind of a vehicle themselves,
Hmm.
because it's like bringing you to the next point. Because
And
you're
it's
not like
so
you're not.
gradual.
Yeah, it's like, but I got like neighbors up here that's like, I'm never gonna stop drinking. I'm never gonna stop doing meth. I'm never gonna. It's like not even. There's no intention. You know what I mean? So like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least like I'm gonna do this till I reach the threshold. It's inevitable. I don't know exactly how it's gonna look, but it's gonna happen. So I'm gonna
And
enjoy it till
whoever said I'm never gonna stop drinking, that's not the true will.
no. But they might not ever been. The body might not have been ever connected with that really
Eh,
fully. You know what I mean? Like some,
yeah.
so yeah, like because like it's like no, there's just nothing to like even like to show people to autocorrect people. You know what I mean? Like it's there's not no pharaoh up here. I'm the closest thing to a pharaoh up here. You know what I mean? It's like nothing. There's no way I can autocorrect these people. You know what I mean? He couldn't autocorrect these people. He met some of these people. You know what I mean? There's no way. These people are so severed from their true will that it's like it really is like kind of. It's not scary, but it's alarming.
Rogue wills.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm still be might low key. I might be low key rogue, but I'm not. I'm not being paranoid.
Yeah, like that was the thing too I was looking at too. Like, I know the word pharaoh is not pharaoh. Pharaoh is the name of their Aboriginal American. That's the whole thing is pharaoh.
Hmm.
His name is Ahaya Kanak. He's like the ambassador of pharaoh. You know what I mean? And it's like I feel like that if that's the American Aboriginal, right? It's called pharaoh. That's the name of the conglomerate or the confederacy called. That's the Aboriginals. then people are just so severed from whatever their Aboriginal group was. If they're from like Eurasia or some shit, they mad far from. They're not. You know what I mean? Like they gotta like. There's no reminder really like of like their code or their original code. Whoever was the original duplicator of their of them.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just not even. There's just nothing to tie back to, kind of in a sense. It's just so far. It's just so far. Like it.
Like unconsciously, they may reach for the same types of things and same type of lifestyle without knowing it. But the way it has to be kept up the whole time, it's draining to the environment. It's like it's still unnatural. It's all forced. Like but there's all these different resources and tools and shit. You could set up camp on a completely different continent and survive for generations, but it's all forced.
Yeah, yeah, like I mean, it would have to be. It would have to be a really delicate symbiosis, man. Like I think you could do it if you just travel, if you don't have an intention on like settling and manipulating an environment. I think you could go to other places as long as you don't don't belong where you don't belong.
Don't damn, do you just say that? Do you know?
I've seen it on a sign years ago.
Okay.
I don't know who made that, but yeah, yeah. I think that's it. I think that's it. Like you can travel through, you just can't stay. Like, I don't think there's anything really wrong with that. I think that would be cool. Like, because then people can interface and trade, but as long as you just don't overstay your welcome, you keep it moving and you go back home, and I think that's fine. Because I don't. It's not like Pharaoh didn't travel the world. He been around the world. He's been to different continents and stuff. Like I feel like he should be able to do that. People should be able to see that. You know what I mean? It's just that like trying to stay is another thing.
Where you don't belong.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
It seems counterintuitive too. It's like, why would you try to stay somewhere that you didn't come from, or if where you came from is home?
Yeah, like if you're fucking from a Nordic country or something and you want to come to the Americas, you know what I mean? You would come like I guess like you would come in the fall or something. You know what I mean? Not when it's too hot or whatever. Like something that still matches your frequency. But I feel like people just be doing anything anywhere, and then everything with the climate control shit, like the conditioning of the air is probably another thing with the whole manifestation of this place. The air is conditioned, and the air is what the thoughts are traveling through.
Yeah,
it's a medium. So if this shit sprayed in the air, shit coming out the cars or whatever else, and then people actually using conditioned air, whether it be heating or cooled, it's just like conditioned thoughts. They're not even
staged. Yeah. You're staging like consciousness with conditioned air.
Yeah, like you put somebody clean in a dirty fish tank, they'll probably start to think that they're dirty. You know what I mean? Just because that's like the only thoughts available.
Well, yeah, no, 100%. I can't imagine what it's like going to jail and having your like hope broken.
Man, if you was in jail, you would definitely have to do that Hurricane Carter shit where you just be like, I'll be in the hole until y'all let me wear the clothes I want to wear. Because that's what he did to do Hurricane Carter.
Whoa.
He was like, I refuse to wear a prison outfit. So I'm going to be in the hole until y'all let me wear my clothes. And he stayed in there mad long to the point where they was like, damn, he's going to go crazy. It's going to be a political problem. Because he was like a heavyweight champion or like welterweight champion or something.
Okay.
And so he was like, I refuse. You know what I mean? And if anybody has any problems, I'll whoop your motherfucking ass. You know what I mean? Welterweight champion. So like, Denzel played a role in the movie Hurricane Carter, and all he did was just breath work and fucking just meditation the whole time. Like I think that's the only way you can handle jail. Like I don't think you have to.
You're
really
kind of
like,
forced to astral project.
Yeah,
you're kind of forced like to learn how to meditate and leave. That's the only way you're leaving at that point.
Yeah, because I've heard Pharaoh say that shit all the time. He's like, jail's not really jail unless you don't know yourself. You know what I mean? But I guess if you knew yourself, you probably wouldn't end up in jail. Yeah,
because this whole thing is I feel like I'm still in the prison placed on me by myself out of fear from my childhood. Just where I'm like I got these bonds on me just to make sure I don't fuck myself up like I did that one time. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's just like a chicken in a chicken coop. Even if it gets out of the chicken coop, it's on the farm. And then if it gets off the farm, it's like it's in America. It's like or whatever, you know? It's like damn, it's a prison within a prison. Like it's this tough and then the body's like a prison. So it's
Yeah, we're not
like,
talking we don't talk about the mental prison. Well,
yeah, yeah. It's
that's the
real
part.
yeah.
Like the concept, if I drink, it's a buzz. It's just like this constant movement. I'm just locked. Yeah, just being locked out of stillness. You wrote it. You already wrote about it. Lost consciousness.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's really like them little transitions, man. Like if people could just really not carry the last segment of the day into the next one and just have like a moment of stillness between the transitions, everything would be different. But people don't have that, man. People can like work more and make less, and so they just can't stop moving.
Man, these little micro adjustments are huge.
Yeah, and then I feel like yeah, if you do breath work consistently enough days, you know what I mean. Your average unconscious breath is just gonna be better. You're gonna start realizing like, damn, I'm out of breath. I'm like shallow breath right now. If you just do it for 21 straight days or whatever, you might. If you're just sitting there, not if you're sitting there thinking or not, holding your breath and like living in your mind and not your whole body and not breathing and stuff, then you start to feel it like, oh shit, I ain't really took a full breath. Like
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You feel that shit. So it do be them little adjustments, man. And like I feel like over time,
it's huge.
yeah, it's huge, man. And that's the scary part about people that have not applied their will yet, and they might still conceptually know a lot of shit. You be like, damn, if you don't apply this shit, you're done for still because you're not creating those ripples. You're not snowballing in a good way.
100%. The whole day is sort of like the whole day is like a whole soccer game, and there's about like 3 goals, maybe 3 goals get scored in the soccer game. For me, I'm at the point like maybe in the whole day, like while I'm moving constantly, delivering and shit on this bike, I might get 3 breaths. I might get 3 ones where I'm like, oh man, I could take a deep breath right now, just on my way. But it feels
Yeah,
like this is just one to 3 to 4, and then probably months from now it could be up to 10. Maybe a few years from now it'll be the whole fucking day.
yeah, and then you're just not gonna. Then you just make different decisions, and so you're not even like impeding the breath.
Yeah,
If you catch it like that, you're not gonna go and just be like, all right, now I'm about to have some garbage. If you just keep catching it, like catching your breath throughout the day like that, even if it's little, your decision making process is gonna be totally different. You're not gonna be blocking the breath to where you need more breath work sessions and more breathe. You know what I mean?
well, and this is so incredible because I'm seeing decision making as an art form more and more as
Yeah,
time goes on.
it
So
really
it's
is.
powerful, man. Powerful
It's like
lessons.
it's like the main tool as a human. It's like your main vehicle or tool is like decision making.
And so being aligned with the breath like that, you really can make the decisions you actually want to make with that sustained awareness of who you really are. And if you lose it, you make some decision that's not aligned with who you really are, and then you got to deal with the back end of that. And that could take
Yeah, so
years to lifetimes.
yeah, yeah. Once something else is in control of the will, it's tough. It's hard, man. People don't, you know what I mean? Like people do things they know they shouldn't do. So something else is controlling their will. And the only way that I could even suggest is like, fasting and breath work and reducing the ingredients until you figure out what it is that's the root of the transfer of your will.
And an extra tool, if it's for the specific person, after doing research, the mushroom helps
Yeah. Yeah, the psychedelics, yeah.
for who that's for. It's not for everybody, but for who's that's for, that I feel like that is so much insight right there. It's not the information's for nobody else except for whoever's taking it, to where they can sincerely like address what's going on and make the shift because they actually see what's going on at the root.
Yeah. It's it's a slippery slope, man. It really is. Like distraction is like the slipperiest of slopes. I feel like
You feel
it
like
just
mushrooms
leads.
is
It just take no, no, no. I'm just saying it just takes you into more distraction. I feel like I'm just talking. Not saying mushrooms are distraction. I'm just saying like people that are in that need they're making decisions that aren't really maybe even necessarily needed to be made. It's because like your one distraction brought you to another one, and now you're like in this distraction, and you're like, oh, maybe I should do this or do that. But it's like these decisions are kind of like they're not that they're of no consequence, but they're just like of no benefit, or they're just not really real. They're not really. You don't have to even be thinking about this paradigm because but
or
it's
they're
just like
trying to choose between these 4 or 5 paradigms where none of them still are. They're all irrelevant.
yeah, it's like if you take a wrong turn at distraction and then you get lost at another distraction and then you take another wrong turn and another distraction. Like the distraction just begets more distraction. It's not going to lead you to presence.
It's the
Like,
distraction track, and then you're on that track. If you commit to that track, you just gotta like ride it to the end.
yeah, I think it's just the application of will. I guess it starts with just stopping, probably, right? Just not doing something, like just a little bit. Just like, all right, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna not do it in the morning. Here it is. I'm gonna have breakfast, or I'm gonna not smoke in the morning, or I'm gonna not, you know what I mean? Just don't do something because, like you said, like like or like Wao Jing says, the more that you do shit, the more you just reinforce the identification with the thoughts.
And if you never don't do something to stop, life will make you stop. Eventually.
Yeah,
Like,
mad
whether
painfully.
it's some crazy thing or it's your deathbed, which is guaranteed. Or not,
Yeah, yeah.
not guaranteed.
You might as well reach your deathbed in a dream, in a good dream, instead of like breaking the body.
Oh,
You're saying that's like the snapback. That's like returning to God, and you just like get back off. All the shit gets.
like you can get like this pullback, snapback to where like you're just forced to be snapback, or you can just walk towards God the whole life.
And then it's like God comes towards you. Like
Uh,
like you take like that one Nas line. He says that if you take one step to God, He takes two towards you, or some shit like that. I think that's the truth. You know what I mean? Because it's like no separation.
yeah, no, it all makes sense. And it's like so. I personal example, like I don't even know if it's like I don't want to be superstitious about it, but I do feel like every time I've drank, a few days later, I end up getting fucked up, like physically, like I'll fall off something, I'll like get a gash or something in my arm or
Yeah,
something,
yeah,
just
we pay
because of
for it.
the yeah, yeah, like and it's like, and especially if I've been breathing in that area of time, it's like within a few days or the next day or the next, it would be within that week. But I can't really do anything about it. Like it was an accident, but it wasn't. I just wasn't there.
Yeah,
I lost
drinking's a crazy thing, man. I think drinking is wild, like because like especially if you have high energy and then you go to drink, then like you kind of start to the next day with the attitude maybe that of how you start any other day, but you kind of shouldn't approach that day like that. It's a fine
yeah.
line, I feel like, because the
It's,
drinking really is damage. It's like a crazy damage to where you have to kind of rest the next day.
well, I can't imagine drinking being like the main goal of the day too for some people.
Yeah, definitely,
like,
definitely, bro,
God,
definitely.
man, it's
Yeah,
crazy, man.
yeah. Some people just never gonna ever stop drinking, man. It's not, and it's just like anything, I guess, that you don't stop. But like, yeah, I think drinking is one of the worst deaths. Me, I know you don't drink like that though. I'm
I
just saying,
never,
like,
but no,
yeah,
but it makes sense you say that, and I'm like 100% because all the times I've had experiences, this is horrible. I was trying to come up with a worse word than terrible in that pause. But,
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, drinking is just like really ravaging your system. I don't even. It's like it's such a beat down, and then the loop is crazy. Once you get into a drinking loop, it's like it's such a different loop. Like it's like a lot of drinkers. I feel like some of them might even be sober for 3 or 4 or 5 days, maybe. But then the weekend warrior shit, they drink all weekend maybe, and then start the week off wrong, and then they hate the whole week, and then they reach the weekend again and drink again or whatever. Or maybe some people drink every day too. But I mean, I feel like drinking is people think that they're stronger than it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I never got that from you. but I feel like a lot of people drink like as if like liquid cocaine, and that shit is like the most undefeated drug. Ain't nothing is like fucking with liquor as far as like I just feel like it's so undefeated. Like it destroys like so much, and like every time without fail, if you do it a certain way, it's going to destroy. It doesn't do anything else. It's not like I don't know. Like Bob Marley can still have a career and have his kids and all that shit because he's just smoking weed. Really, not drinking. You know what I mean? But if he was
Yeah.
drinking, it's like its destruction isn't guaranteed.
Yeah, there's no Bob Marley if he was drinking like that. If he drank like he smoked, yeah, then we wouldn't see that. We wouldn't.
Yeah. Hell no. Hell no.
Yeah, I mean it makes hella sense, and that's where people even get in stupors. Like I can't imagine being that dependent energetically on that, and then not having a body anymore. But there's still all these attachments to certain things. I don't know if that's why they call them spirits. I don't know if there's people that pass on and they're just trapped in a certain stupor, like alcoholic stupor, somewhere.
I think they just haunt bodies that are drunk.
Yeah, spirits.
That's what I think. That's what I think. Yeah. Yep. I think if you die a drunk, you're just gonna haunt other bodies that's drinking.
If you even have any proactive awareness at that point, like I don't know. That's crazy.
I think it's just all unconscious synchronization. Probably like you go to the bar and it's just like nothing separate from anything. So I guess it's just almost like the way water sinks. It's like drunks will just like sink into an area, and then they're probably just all synchronized with all all the drunks. You know what I mean? All the spirits
across time.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Hey, so I mean, these cycles. I don't know. So the breath, the reducing, and the mushrooms for specific people. There's also there's ayahuasca, ibogaine, the bufo DMT, but that's
peyote.
For specific. Yeah, peyote's for sure. Peyote, man. And so all those are there. I gotta get going soon. I'm gonna hop on. Gotta get to work real soon. An hour and a half solid. Do you feel?
Yeah, for sure, man. It's good talking to you, man.
Shit.
You watching the game tonight, man? I'm actually kind of sad that Jimmy Bucket's not in it, just because I feel like it's not going to be a good series. But maybe because the Celtics can't play defense, so maybe it'd be good.
Yeah, I forgot they were playing tonight. I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean? Something. I like watching the games. I like watching the games for the gematria and for the subliminals and for like the oneness of shit. Because sometimes in the games it'd be like the synchronicities where you're just like, oh shit, all right, I'm still. If you study one thing, you study everything, kind of still.
Yeah, it's spooky. It can't be avoided with the numbers. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah, man. Zachary Hubbard. You seen Zachary Hubbard's page?
I've heard of it. I'm gonna write that down. Actually, I'm gonna check it out later.
Zachary Hubbard. His page got deleted like 27 times. All he does is gematria on sports. He ruins sports, bro. He ruins them, yo. All he does all day. He don't believe in God, though. You know what I mean? So, like, he's just all numbers. You know what I'm saying? He's, like, totally an atheist. And he just, like, he's just totally into that. Like, so I feel like it's kind of cool at some level that there's a person that's all they do. And you can, because I'm not about to do that shit. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, I think it's nice that you could go and anytime a celebrity dies, he does all the gematria for it to where you're like, damn, is this even real?
God damn.
What is real?
It's cool how the numbers just reflect it. Like his place markers, energetic place markers just paint like a picture of synchronicity.
Yeah, it's just so ridiculous his level of it because he doesn't do nothing else. His focus is there. Like when Nipsey Hussle died, he went into the gematria of Nipsey, and then he did the gematria of Nipsey Russell, the guy he got the name from, and like how it all matched up, and his death and Nipsey's death, and how it's just like the spirits just keep reincarnating and come back doing the same thing, name themselves kind of the same, and like it's just like it makes you be like, fuck, man, this loop is so big. How big is this loop? Like, it's so many loops inside of it. Huh?
Have you heard of the Wheel of Destiny?
No, I don't think so.
It's the same idea. It's just how you can tell which ancestors coming through at what time, just based on when people were born and when they died.
Oh yeah, shit, that makes sense, man. I feel
Yeah.
like I think everybody should study their relatives, especially their close relatives, birthdays, aunts and uncles. To me, it's close relatives, cousins. You should know them because if you're having sex right now, you should know what you might be bringing back.
Boom.
Yeah.
I see so much of that. I feel it's like an absorption. Like when you if I were to quote unquote die or leave my body right now, I'd just be absorbed into the collective DNA and whatever is like the closest nodes to my signature. I'm just gonna get absorbed into that. So my father dies, I'm just gonna get absorbed into whatever is the closest child template, is closest to his spirit body. I don't know.
Yeah, probably right. I mean, like it's like that one movie called The Boys, and it's about Brazil in the '50s. Farrell told me to watch this shit a while ago. It's just about how they wanted to create communism in Brazil, and they thought that the way that they could do it, or fascism, the way that they thought that they could do it is if they recreate all the circumstances that created Hitler. So if they get a grandmom and a grandfather that had these life experiences, and then the parents had these life experiences, and we can somehow make these people come together, then it's inevitable that a Hitler will be produced based on these ingredients, like a cake.
It's like a recipe.
So I think that's kind of like with all of us. Like I can't come into this environment until certain ingredients are here that allow me to return to where I can pick up where I left off. Kind of.
Yeah. Oh, that's the concept. So you can pick up where you left off.
Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, because it's like you wouldn't come in to an environment, even if it's a different timeline, it's still going to be like all the ingredients. Like even if it's like the Stone Age or some, or we riding on horses, it's still going to be all relative to where I left off at. I feel like, and it's just all them ingredients have to be in arrangement, or I can't come in.
It's like a riddle trying to solve it when everything's coming in scrambled.
Yeah, and I guess that's the receptor shit that Farrell be talking about. Like, you if you die a certain way, then you can't come back until the environment is like similar to the one you died in. So, your receptors, even if they are like over Florida, if the environment can't connect with you and bring you back, then you have to wait your turn until it reaches a state that can house you.
Yeah. Yeah, I see.
So, yeah.
That's, man. Look at these chimeric forms. But the story's deep, man. The myth. Like, if I don't know these things, there's these huge gaps in the story of my consciousness. And it's like, if I don't have access to that, then like some other thing has to step in. There's like a feeling, or like, does my soul, does the shadow of who I am, like, just fill that in?
I always think about that shit with my mom. She don't know who her dad is. It's almost like this parasite came and stepped in and filled that spot because maybe the guy died who was supposed to be her dad or whatever. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? I always wonder,
I
like, that's
never,
how it happens. Yeah. Like,
it feels like that. Like, but damn, it was media. Fuck, dog. It's like, I know, father, I was raised by media, so I guess the parasite, whatever ice cream, pizza, burger, hot dogs I was eating, and then I just watch the TV to get some psychic concept of who I am relative to the media, and then the physical parasite from the meats is connected to it.
yeah. No, it's wild, man. Like how that go. Like it's just those missing spots. Like, you know what I mean? Because something, I don't know. I guess, yeah, like if you was to die prematurely, then your chick that you was supposed to get pregnant is gonna get pregnant by somebody. And so I guess like this whole shit got to restart to where you end up getting her pregnant and everything being the right way it's supposed to be. So it all has to kind of come back. I think. I don't know.
This is sidelining, or the spirit sidelining. Who's sidelining for aeons and centuries to where they can finally come in, and that wheel of destiny is so when you can tell which ancestors coming through to get the shit done, and it's exciting to come into that awareness. I feel like there's more purpose, more meaning. There's not enough time here to figure this shit out, so it's like every fucking day I can't even be bored.
Yeah, and then you just bring it back LeBron or whoever of your family.
Straight up, straight up, his alignments and shit. Like I see it all making sense. And god damn it, like I don't know, yeah, I really don't know. I can trust some more as time goes on. but it does get more intense. It's like it's not even like I can trust more in what's going on. It's like I can maintain the same amount of trust as things go up in difficulty.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just like you can tell that you're being challenged more. It's like kind of like video games, you know what I mean? Like they say, right? If there's more bad guys, you're going the right way.
For real. And it's like, but who's there to like teach all the youth? What elders there to teach all the youth that that's the proper way to go about it?
And that's where I'm at. Where I'm like, yo, do you just be Pharaoh and be alone and then teach people that way, or do you have a child and then like you just like are so yourself that the child is themselves that they just radiate self.
That's where I feel like the child would radiate self. Like if you brought it in underwater birth and shit, do that shit like I really want to do that shit where you ask the child what's your name for the first 9 months. You just ask what's your name.
Yeah.
Just the persistent, like the mom's persistent, like yo, what's your name? And then like they actually say it. Like I'd like to bring in a being like that. That'd be.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's because that person is gonna grow up and they're gonna have friends. They're gonna have because they're like a package deal almost. Like it's almost like the yin and yang thing. Like if this person incarnates, then these other people got to incarnate because they're in the same group. They're in the same like graduating class almost. So like they're gonna come and reincarnate, and then they're gonna interface with all the people in their class. And then if they're themselves, then that just makes everybody else themselves more. And I think that I can't tell if that's the way to go. Like, is that the way to go? Do you do it that way, or do you just be like, nah, I'm not gonna have no kids and be alone and just and be an example this way and like father the earth another way? I don't know. It just seems like one is more. It's like direct or indirect. Either way, I guess it's no loss or lack. It's just whatever way you want to do it.
For real. I mean, I would even like. I'd have the kid quarantined only with you. You could only expose that kid to people who know themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Until you, I guess, want to teach them like this is what not knowing yourself looks like. Look at them.
For real. Like when they get like past age 7 or like age 30, you get like that. It'd be shit like that. Like people be having kids now, and I'm like, you could be doing so much more. If you waited and like did it out of presence instead of just like
where is their faith is my thing. It's like you really have faith that in the school and the system and all of this shit more than your grandma, more than your mom, and your dad, whoever.
The whole tribe. It's been the tribe. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just the faith is just misplaced to me. Like when people be so confident in the system, and you're like, yo, this shit has to end. Don't you know? It's not real. Like it has to, or it's not necessarily change. It has to change. You know what I mean? Yeah. And people, I feel like they just get washed up in them changes, and you just got to transform before the change.
It's too much of a shock. Like,
yeah.
That's how I'd be looking at death like a test. Like if it was like any final exam, like you got to study for that shit, man. And if you don't, it's like it's just you're getting smacked with this huge problem.
Yeah, and it's like the way you start fucks with the way you finish. Yeah, they gotta be correlated, man. You know what I mean? The alpha and the omega, the beginning and the ending, they gotta be related. You live the way you die, and all of that. I think die the way you live.
In faith. Or in doubt.
Yeah, and then that's an abyss of emptiness, probably. When you die, it just probably feels like everything probably feels so separated, like the body, the will, the consciousness, or consciousness, I guess, is the will. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like one, but like the body and the consciousness being separated, it probably, man.
From the perspective of the body dying, that's going into it.
You know how it is when you be in a dream and you can't move in it, or you can't really move like you want to or something. I just imagine that if you're dying, it probably feels like that. Like, oh shit, I have no will. There's no will in my body.
Man. I can imagine, but I can't. I still don't know. But these things,
Yeah,
I contemplate them. I contemplate about them most out of everything else because I don't see what's more important. That seems like the most realistic, the most concrete reality I could like work with to get a sense of what's going on right now in life.
yeah, yeah. Just to communicate it. Yeah,
But no one wants to look at it. No, I mean it's just the aversion, like to even like not think about it. Just the thought of it feels like is just too much of a problem for the identity or for the body.
yeah. The thinking fucks up everything, man. People just be afraid to be the man, or they be afraid of the responsibilities that will mature them, that will make them the man or whatever. And it's like, yo, you this is all gonna make you feel better.
It's like just that's the unknown, like that feeling better. It's just like it's the unknown. It's so scary when it's like this absence of information, but it's fucking hilarious when it actually is bliss on the other side.
Yeah, like some people, I just feel like they be afraid of like holding a baby, but they be killers though. You know what I mean? It's like so. They might be more confident in killing someone than like holding a baby. Like just because they're like afraid to be okay. Like it's like
Yeah,
wow.
it's just so unknown. Like people really be fearing the unknown, like they fear God.
Yeah, yeah. I guess it's the same. You know what I mean? And yeah, and like you just don't want to die. Like the Christians always say, you don't want to die, and God be like, I don't know you.
Who's you? Like
Yeah, yeah, like it's like because like it's saying basically like if you're not with me, like this is the saying in the Bible is like if you're not hot or cold, if you're lukewarm, I'll spit you out. I can deal with like someone that don't know what they do and they're evil and they repent and they once they realize, or somebody that knows what they do and they have a righteous life. But somebody that God has no mercy on. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're not trying to actively know me, or if you're not ignorant and just completely ignorant to where you, through your ignorance, realize that, like, if you're like lukewarm, you know what I mean? If you're not hot or cold and you're lukewarm, not committing, then I'll spit you out. And I think that's kind of like it. Like, I don't know you. Like, God, if you're, and I guess you could look at it too. Like, if you're not Aboriginal or whatever, that's not in your blood, then God might not look at you like I know you. So you probably have to do other shit to get known. I don't know. But it makes sense to me though. Like you want to know yourself so that God knows you when you die.
man, and these rewards are unfathomable, but trust is there as far as experience can afford that for you.
Yeah, man, right, the 50 Cent shit. Like, death got to be easy. Life is hard. It got to be something, you know what I mean? That's like a contrast to this shit.
Easy.
Got
Yeah, 100%, man. Man, this is a great combo, bro. I'm gonna have a lot to go over. Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to
Nah,
toss
man.
in?
I think that's solid, man. I guess let me know when you get the time to throw it up or whatever, man. Snip it up, and I guess whenever you want to talk again, we'll talk.
Cool. I'll let you know. It'll be ASAP, man.
All right, then, man. Word, man. Yeah, shit. Then I guess take care of the rest of your day, man. I guess I'll be talking to you probably during the game or something.
Trust, man. All right, I'll be talking to you. I'll see you on the flip.
All right, bro.
All right.
Peace.
And then also, real quick too, shouts out to all the supporters. Before I forget about
for
y'all.
sure. For sure. Yeah.
Thank y'all for tapping in.
Yeah. All right, man.
All right, man.
Peace.
Peace.